Hi, this is Troy with Modified Cycling, back with another video. Today I'm going to be considering riding in the drops like a boss. Advantages of riding in the drops are that you can get less wind resistance, lower center of gravity, and increase braking leverage. Now, many riders are not as comfortable riding in the drops for various reasons, but I'm here to tell you if you want to improve your bike handling skills, it's important to be open to riding in different positions for better rider control. Consider this guide in this video on how to ride in the drops like a boss. Or is it as simple as holding on to the bars below the hoods? You can say that, but quite frankly, this specific rider position is one of the most untapped skill riders don't take advantage of often. There are two distinct rider positions below the handlebars on a road bike, and that's either the hooks or the drops. Now, for a safer and more aerodynamic ride, you will likely want to be in either one of these two positions. Keep in mind, depending on which type of drop bars your bike is equipped with, this may or may not apply to your specific bike. Tips for riding in the hooks or drops. Now, if you're in the hooks position, your hands should be placed directly on the part where the bars curve, but right behind the brake levers. Most riders extend the pointer and index fingers across the brake levers to be able to brake when needed quickly. In this position, you'll have better wind resistance and better grip while riding on bumpy roads. Also, this will be the best position to be in while riding down hills. The drops. If you're riding in this position, this is the part of the handlebar that is defined as the lower section below hooks position. It is an aggressive position, and because of that, the brakes are not as reachable here. But for a beginner just starting out, this may be very daunting. So here's what you should do. You should be positioned quite low with bent elbows parallel to the road to stay in the drops. Now over time, you're going to build up confidence riding this way on flat roads before trying it in a descent. Now, riding in the drops descending. Now, most cyclists would agree that it is a must to ride in the drops when descending down a hill. I often do this, riding down hills, because it gives me more control of my bike and it lowers my center of gravity. And when traveling at high speeds downhill, it's best to have a tight grip and control of the bike at all times. Now, your aerodynamic drag is reduced riding in the drops downhill, which will also increase your speed. Now, I've reached speeds of 45 miles per hour plus before this way, and I felt totally in control than if I had rode in a different position other than riding in the drops. The next tip you want to consider is using drops when accelerating. Now, when you want to travel at higher speeds or really want to push through a ride with power, riding in the drops can help you reach that speed. This technique is best used in racing, where cyclists may need to close a gap or sprint towards the finish line at the end of a race. But this doesn't mean that someone who does not race should not try this. So my next tip is increase braking riding in the drops. For most cyclists, they will place their hands on the part of the handlebar that seems comfortable for them. Now when the hands become uncomfortable, then they'll move to a more comfortable position in the drops. One of the things that is good to learn is how to brake in the drop position. It's going to give you more control and power of your bike, especially in the event that you need to brake hard in an emergency. Some cyclists, they feel more secure braking from the drops on descents and less likely to slide forward when applying force to the brakes. But this will also depend on your brake setup on the handlebars. Now consider this if you're riding in a pace line. For a complete beginner, riding in a pace line may seem intimidating, having to maintain a certain speed and distance from other riders in a group. But riding in a pace line is an essential skill to learn, and it will allow a cyclist to travel faster with less effort. Riding in the drops in a pace line can also have its benefits in this way. When riding in a pace line, being arrow will help you to draft behind other riders. Most cyclists too in a group ride may position themselves in the drops or hoods of the handlebars just so they can be more arrow and cut through the wind faster. Let's talk about riding in the drops while cornering. Now, during a course of riding, the cyclist must be able to have control with going in any direction. Some directional turns will be harder and some will come easy, but all of them will involve a specific position that you need to ride in to handle your bike. Cornering is going to help you make turns smoothly and to steer in a direction or on a road that may be challenging. Now, this skill not only will allow you to turn quickly, but safely get around a corner or a downhill turn. So now, you want to give your back a break riding in the drops. And when cycling on longer rides, sitting up on the handlebars, a cyclist's lower back will ache and it'll start to stiffen up. It's usually best to move around on a bike utilizing different positions. One should not feel tense in the neck, shoulders, or back unless you're not experienced riding in this position. One way to become more comfortable riding in the drops is to gradually increase the time you spend in the drops. But over time, getting experience riding in the drops, your body will adapt to this position. You'll be able to ride longer rides and have an additional position to recover to when you start getting fatigued. Another thing you want to consider is becoming more flexible. To be efficient riding in the drops, a cyclist will need to be flexible. Your comfort level in the drop position will depend on the flexibility of your hamstrings, your lower back, and your hip flexors. And one may gradually become more flexible as a result of riding in the drops. But it's important to note that this widely varies among cyclists who may have other physical limitations that will prevent them from using this position. But in my opinion, being someone who has suffered back problems before, even to the point of having episodal back spasms, riding in the drops has been very good for me. As a side note, I do not recommend or endorse that others with back problems should consider this position. This will be entirely up to you and your medical provider to discuss. Getting comfortable riding in the drops has its pros and cons. It may help you become more flexible, but do not depend entirely on this position to help you in that area. Working on your overall body flexibility is probably going to be the best option for you. It aids you in riding in the drops. In addition to this, you'll want to position yourself right and have a proper reach of the bars. With time, practice, and attention to flexibility in multiple areas of your body, you can be sure that riding in the drops will become easier. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also check out podifycycling.com, where you're going to find even more additional tips on how to ride in the drops, among other things related to